everyone, and thank you for joining our self-care program here, provided virtually from Elmhurst Public Library. My name is Tracey Orrick. I am the social worker at Elmhurst Public Library. This was a program that I had planned to do in person at one point, and may still do that, but thought what a better time than now to talk about some self-care. There's definitely some adjustments to this as we go through it, and I'll explain that, based on where our lives are at this time. But, self-care is the most important form of care we can do for ourselves. And challenges present themselves all the time. And the challenges, are changing every day for us during this COVID-19 time. So thanks for joining, and we'll go ahead and get started. But first, I have a quiz for you. So if we were meeting in person, I would pass out these sheets with some questions on them, and you would fill them out. But we are not here in person. So instead, I'm going to read the questions aloud. So if you want to take a minute, hit the pause, get a paper and pen if you don't have one. Real simple, just yes and no answers is what we're going to do. And then kind of see where we are on the self-care scale of life, so to speak. So if you're ready, let's get started. It's just 20 yes or no questions, or just maybe doesn't apply for some reason. Whatever works for you. No right or wrong answers, obviously. Okay, so everybody back with their pen and paper? Here we go. Number 1. Do you have a morning routine that is nourishing and allows you to start your day with some time for you? Number 2. Do you set a daily intention every day? Number 3. Do you have alone time every day? Number 4. Do you eat healthy, whole and non-processed foods primarily, and exercise most days of the week? Number 5. Do you have hobbies that you are passionate about? Number 6. Do you take days off work when you need a break? Seven. Do you take breaks at work to be mindful of how you are feeling and check in with your daily intention? Do you have people you can talk to? Question number 8. Do you have people you can talk to that really hear you? Number 9. Do you eat regularly? Number 10. Do you stop and go to the restroom when you need to? Do you say no when you don't want to do something? Do you have a slow down routine that you use to ease from your work day to your home life and a place in your home that is your sacred space? Do you have time in the evening to read, watch TV, play with your kids, or do something else you enjoy? Number 14. Do you spend time with friends who really get you and have the same passion and values as you? Number 15. Do you have a nighttime ritual to let your body know it is time to settle down and get ready for sleep? Number 16. Do you sleep 7 to 8 hours a night? Number 17. Do you have a regular bedtime and wake up time? 18. Do you ask for help when you need it? Number 19. Do you have any spiritual routines that nourish you, such as church, meditation, or something else? And number 20. Do you take care of your pampering needs? Haircuts, mani-pedis, massage, etc. So take a minute now and add up your scores. I know that some of these questions may sound almost alien to us in these times, but for the purpose of generally how we do our own self-care routines, we'll stick with these questions, and then, like I said, we'll make adjustments as we kind of walk through them. Okay, when you're ready and you're all added up, we'll move on to the next slide and see where you're at. All right, so let's see how well you're taking care of yourself. 1 through 5, you need real self-care. You may be putting others' needs above your own. You're not taking that time to do those things for yourself. And when you do that, you teach others that they don't have to respect you because you don't respect yourself enough to take care of yourself. If you got a 6 through a 10, you're doing the bare minimum for self-care, and you're at a significant risk for overexerting yourself and slipping into the no self-care realm. You're not honoring your higher self, and therefore maybe not fully enjoying your life. 11 through 15, you are providing yourself with some self-care, and that is fantastic. Congratulations. There's still some areas we could work on, and we'll look at those no's as we go through this and see where you can use that help. And if you got a 16 through a 20, well, good for you. You are prioritizing your self-care. All around, if you are scoring less than a 20, obviously there's room for improvement. This self-care quiz for myself is something that I will quiz myself on periodically, and my numbers can change day to day, especially during what we're going through right now. There are days where I hide under the covers and only get a 5, and then there are days I'm up near 18. It really just depends on where we're at in our lives, and this is a good kind of check-in point. And I'd be happy to get a copy of these questions to anyone that wants them, to kind of keep them on hand and remind themselves each day of maybe what they could be working on to prioritize their self-care. So what is self-care? Almost seems like one of those buzzwords that's been around a little more recently, but there is a lot to it. Self-care is exactly what it says, taking care of yourself. And one of the benefits is the health of your parasympathetic nervous system. And pardon me while I say that slowly because I have trouble with that word. It's a tongue twister for me. So the parasympathetic system is sometimes called the rest and digest system. It slows the heart rate and increases intestinal and gland activity while conserving energy. So I look at a parasympathetic system as kind of that reset. And sometimes we have to reset many times during the day. It's not just going to bed at night and waking up and starting the new day as a reset. Reset can be happening anytime during the day. Currently, depending on your situation, if you're working from home, home with your kids, trying to homeschool your kids, worried about elderly relatives or parents, that reset button needs to be set many times a day, and that's okay. Whenever it needs to be set, that's when you need to set it. And that's what we'll start talking about. Okay, let's talk morning routine. So our morning routine kind of lets us set the tone for the day, allows us to schedule the day instead of the day scheduling us. Starting each day fresh helps us to focus on our tasks for the day and reduces stress. So for myself, my morning routine has stayed the same as I live alone. My children are grown. But for some of you with kids at home, your morning routine may have taken on a whole new plan right now. your kids are not getting in the car and taking them to school or getting on the bus or whatever that might be. So our morning routine, it still needs to exist in some way, but it can change. So just like your morning routine would change if you have young kids at home over the summer, take your morning routine and adapt it to the e-learning that's going on for everyone right now. For those of us working from home, our morning routine, again, I still do my things that I do for myself, for my self-care in the morning, and I do not go to work, which is my dining room table, until 8 o'clock when I am starting my day. No time before that am I looking at my emails or looking at my to-do list for work, because when the library is open, all of that is at work. That's not home with me. So finding that balance kind of starts with that morning routine. And this balance is so hard to find right now. And that's why I think it's even more important to have that morning routine of what it's going to be. Again, being home with kids, I know is a whole different world. I know when my kids were younger, I would get up a full hour ahead of them just to have my time, my coffee time, my way to set my tone for the day before they got up demanding, all that stuff, like, to be fed and have clothes to wear, all those things kids want. Find what works for you, though. Your morning routine is going to look different. Everyone is going to have a different routine. Everyone's going to have a different thing that works for them. So like I said, find what works for you. Some examples of some things that could be part of a morning routine for some are morning coffee or tea. Me, I'm a coffee person. Some exercise. I do some yoga every morning to just kind of like slowly wake myself up a bit, along with some meditation and prayer. And those may be the same for you. Those may coexist. But there are meditation apps that you can download. Calm, Headspace, or a couple if you're new to meditation. I know when I first looked into meditation, I thought there's no way my brain can stay still for more than, 8 to 12 seconds. But I find that meditation definitely is something that helps set my tone for the day. I also have on here morning news. During this time, I'm limiting my morning news. I watch, to see the weather, few headlines, and that's it. I watch the governor's press conference at 2:30, and that's it for me for the news. So by 6:15 a.m., I'm done with news until 2:30 p.m. There's just too much going on for me, and it's a little overwhelming. So that's where I cut myself off from it. Grooming, a lot of us working from home. Well, us ladies, we don't have to do our hair or makeup, or men may not have to shave that beard or anything anymore. But I think it's still important to stay in that practice, still obviously, do the basics, wash your hands, take a shower, maybe, fix our hair, put our moisturizer on, whatever that might be. But that could still be a part of our morning routine. Some things to avoid is hitting the snooze button. Again, working from home is a little different now. Our alarm clocks, due to our time to get to work, we might be able to sleep a little later. But still, set that time that you're going to get up. That came up in one of the questions, is having that wake up time. So still set that alarm and get up when you need to without hitting that snooze button. Avoid the email and social media first thing. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's not a good way for your brain to start the day. It kind of goes from complete rest to this hyper-vigilant activity when the screens start flashing at us. Staying in the dark when you first wake up. Not turning all those lights on right away kind of keeps you in that rest mode and not waking up and starting your day. For me, I have some candles I usually light first thing before turning all the lights on. Oh, and for goodness sake, do not skip breakfast. Eat something. Have some yogurt. Have some fruit. Now that some of us are working from home, eating breakfast might be a little bit easier than it was before when we were running behind and trying to corral the children and get lunches made and all that stuff. So don't skip your breakfast. Have something to eat. A daily intention. Daily intention helps you pick one behavior that will help you accomplish the major tasks on your to-do list for that day. An example is, I intend to make someone smile today. Again, this COVID-19 world we live in, that might be a little different. Your daily intention, maybe you are going to practice your self-care today. You are going to focus on eating healthier today. You are going to have more patience with your children and their e-learning, or your spouse or partner who's fighting, for the computer because they have a conference call as well. So our daily intention, you just pull this out of whatever works for you. Everyone here, again, this is going to be a little different. And a daily intention is different from our daily to-do list. My to-do list is certain tasks I have to accomplish for my job or for my home, but my intention comes from a little bit more internal and something that I want to project out. Alone time. Depending on your situation, this may be the biggest struggle of all right now. There's a quote here from Olivia Wilde. I think it's very healthy to spend time alone. You need to know how to be alone and not be defined by another person. I am not just the mom. I am not the wife. I'm not the husband. I'm not the dad. I am, and who you are. So this can be one of the hardest elements of self-care. And boy, it's probably one of the hardest right now if you are home with kids in your family. Kids, spouse, partners, roommates, co-workers, I wish, parents are everywhere, right? And so now if you're in this self-isolation, doing your part to reduce the spread, you can't get rid of it. They're everywhere. But try to find a way to have that alone time. If you can't do it in your home, maybe you go outside for a bit. The weather's getting nicer. Going for a walk. I know a lot of parks are closed, so we can't go to parks really. Coffee shops obviously closed. Find a location that works for you and just be still. That may mean going in another room and telling your family members, I need 15 minutes alone. And going in and having that time to do whatever it is you need to do to have that alone time. I encourage you to find a way to get this alone time now more than ever. And share with me and others how you are doing that if you are in an existence with a house full of people. I'm kind of the opposite right now because I live alone, so I'm kind of over the alone time. But I know in my daily practice, when we go back to the real world, alone time is something that I do treasure and enjoy. And that for me is something as simple as getting home from work, texting my kids to tell them I'm checking out for the next half hour, and not responding to their texts, emails, or whatever. All right, so let's talk about our physical health, food and exercise. There's a distinct mind-body connection. So as long as we're feeling good mentally, we feel good physically. And when we're feeling good physically, we feel good mentally. It's just this back and forth flow. So in our COVID-19 world, these might be a little bit easier to kind of implement and get yourself going on a routine. So we all know eating the healthy, non-processed foods, shopping the outer aisles of the grocery store. I know we're all trying to limit our time in the store, but my last couple visits to the store, there are plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, and even healthy meat choices. So that's what is in those outer aisles, that dairy, meats, and fruits and veggies. So stay on those outer aisles, obviously practicing, some safety measures when you go out, wiping down your cars, washing your fruits and vegetables when you get home, such and such. But those are the good ways to do things. Cook at home, avoid eating out for the majority of your week. I know there's been a lot of push to support our local businesses and restaurants as they struggle with this, and I understand that. And so I've been treating myself once a week where I will eat locally, get delivery or pickup. But maybe that's not something you can financially afford, and that's fine too. Don't eat out. Water, 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 water. Drink lots of water. We're home now. We all have running water. Drink some water, 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 and then have some more water too. Stop to eat before getting too hungry. So don't wait until suddenly that stomach is growling and you're feeling lightheaded and everything. Eat. Plan your meals out. This is the time I'm going to stop, take a little break from whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's e-learning with the kids, working from home, whatever, and stop to eat before you get too hungry. When we're at work in our offices, we have scheduled lunch breaks usually. Our kids have scheduled lunch breaks. Keep up with that as we're going through these next few weeks. Meal planning, that's even more important too. It saves money, but it also limits our time now running to the store. Plan out what you're going to need so you don't have that last minute trip to the store every other day, as we're all trying to kind of, stay in our homes and be safe. And of course, a little treat is still okay. Get that milkshake if you want, a piece of cake. Just don't make it a habit. I have been trying to avoid the Reese's peanut butter cup eggs, as I had already bought the Easter candy for my kids' Easter baskets. And then I was stuck at home alone with them, so may have to get them some more before Easter. Exercise, 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. That's all that is recommended. We have all complained and used that as an excuse as I don't have time. Well, now we have some time. So go for a walk. I personally, midday, I stop what I'm doing and I go for a walk. Weather permitting, obviously. Joining a gym, not an option right now. We'll just skip right past that. Apps. I talked about the meditation apps. Through the library, there's Hoopla has an app with exercise videos. YouTube has quite a bit, from yoga to strength training to Zumba classes to just about anything. Work out virtually with a partner or a group for accountability. I know of several running clubs that are doing kind of virtual runs where they're still running on their own and then like uploading it or sharing it with each other on social media, whatever that might be. But still, you can have that accountability and do what works for you. Maybe yoga is all you want to do, or maybe running is all you want to do. Whatever works for you, just 30 minutes a day. And of course, eating regularly. Do not skip those meals. Make sure you're eating those meals regularly. Don't skip breakfast, don't skip lunch, and do not skip dinner. Eat them all. Let's talk hobbies. What is your passion? Hobbies are things that help us focus on what we enjoy. At this time, those can also provide a really good distraction from everything that's going on in the world. They help battle stress, depression, and low mood. Hobbies are anything from reading, organizing your closet, dancing, crossword puzzles. Find what works for you. If you are not following Elmhurst Public Library Facebook page, I suggest you do that. They are doing quite a bit of instructional videos on different things, from painting to tangling, all kinds of fun stuff that you can do from home with basic supplies you have at home to keep you occupied. Reading, I know the library's closed. We can't get in there to get books, but our e-library, our cloud library, has so many options to listen to audiobooks. I just recently finished the first 2 Harry Potter books because I had never read Harry Potter before, so I listened to the first 2 audiobooks. So pick something. Maybe pick something out of your normal choice of reading materials and listen to something different. All right, next up, give your brain a break. Burnout is now a classified mental illness. We have to be aware when burnout could be encroaching and work to avoid it. So that could be taking a mental health day, a sick day for your brain, because your brain is sick and it needs a break. This will help you de-stress, reset, evaluate, regulate those emotions, relax, and rest. Again, this looks different in the world we're in right now, but you still need to take those mental health breaks. and have to find what works for you. Working from home seems crazy to take a day off. Well, I'm home all the day. What do you mean? But taking that mental health break from work, meaning you don't tune into any emails or anything that's going on at work, and you just take a day off like you normally would, can help you reset things. For those of you with young kids at home, this definitely could be a bigger challenge. How do you do that with the kids? How do you take a mental health break when you still have to focus on getting their e-learning done, and things like that? Work to find a way, and please share any ideas again with people you know, because I know this is a troubling, struggling time for some parents home with their kids. But find a way to take that mental health break. On a smaller scale, instead of a whole day, taking some scheduled breaks, recognizing when you may need a break. Walk away if you feel you need to. So in this new world, that means for myself, every 30 minutes, after sitting at my desk/dining room table, I get up and I just kind of walk away from it for a few minutes. That might be switching a load of laundry or maybe putting some dishes away, whatever it might be, but every 30 minutes kind of getting up and walking away from this. While, at work physically in the library, same thing. Sometimes you just need to walk away from your desk, right? So you get up and you walk away. Do the same thing at home. And do the same for your kids. Your kids probably need a break too. As stressful as this is for you, it's pretty confusing for them too. So, I don't know what the e-learning schedule is, but when necessary, let them take a break as well. Let them shut down, de-stress, reset. It's only going to help them do a little bit better. And again, take that break. It helps to recharge the batteries. It helps you to then actually focus better going forward. I know I tend to have some of my best ideas when I first wake up in the morning, because I take my break, I clock out for the day, and then as I'm sitting here in the evening, reading, watching TV or whatever it might be, then I'm having all these great ideas for work. But I write them down. It's because they can wait till the morning. Okay, let's talk about the value of friendship. I don't know about all of you, but I truly miss my friends. One of my friends had a milestone birthday. Her party was canceled. We had 2 brunches that have since been canceled. I just miss seeing their faces. So when we talk about spending time with friends, that's going to look differently. Video chats, text messages. I know we have had a group text going for the past few weeks. But recognizing the good friendships, the people that really hear you, that know they can really hear what you're saying, and understand you. Recognizing those toxic relationships and getting rid of those. Remembering to say no even to friends when you need to. Right now, all our resources are being drained just to exist in this world. So sometimes we have to say no to some things. Be the friend you would want to have in your life. If nothing else, this time has definitely showed me the value of friendship and how much I truly value my friends, and going to make some more time for them going forward, mainly to make up for all this lost time we've had. Next, I want to talk about a bedtime routine. When we were children, we had a bedtime routine similar to the chart here that you see. Take your bath, brush your teeth, put on your jammies, maybe some story time, and hugs. But for some reason, as we got older, we stopped having that regular bedtime routine. So having a regular bedtime and wake-up time is pretty important for self-care. It's a way to signal your body that it's time to go to sleep. Just like when you were a kid and mom and dad would say, get your jammies on, you knew it was bedtime. So having that regular bedtime and wake-up time, creating a nighttime ritual that signals your mind and body it's time for bed, whether it's reading, meditating, or journaling, turning off the electronics, turn down the lights. I have heard that looking at our screens up to an hour before bedtime can definitely inhibit our sleep. So anyway, you can avoid those screens for maybe an hour before you go to bed. And of course, trying to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. I know that is a challenge sometimes, but it's definitely a goal you should try to work for. I tell people that struggle with that to, start a little lower, try to get the 5 to 6 hours and kind of move yourself up a little bit. And then again, just doing whatever it works for you to shut down your system for the day, to signal yourself that it's bedtime. Next up is our spiritual needs. Spiritual needs are going to vary for each of us, and it's going to mean different things to each of us. Some examples here: church. I'm aware during these times we are not allowed to gather in churches in large groups, but I know many churches are streaming their services online. Meditation is a spiritual thing for some, and we talked about that, the different apps that you can use to meditate, or just having that moment of stillness in your day. Prayer, obviously, that's something that works for some people, especially nowadays when we can't be in a church. Journaling, writing down your thoughts for today, kind of getting it all on paper. Yoga is very spiritual for some people as well. Tons of apps for that, as well as through Hoopla, one of the Elmhurst Library streaming programs. YouTube TV, plenty of yoga options to do at home. But do whatever you need to do to fill that cup for yourself. If anyone is familiar with Parks and Rec, you'll recognize this. Enjoy. So self-care is really not a reward or luxury. We shouldn't look at it that way. It's something that we need to do just like we take care of other parts of our lives. Taking care of ourselves inside and out is the simple definition of self-care. So whether that's haircuts, regular doctor visits, mani-pedis, massages, bubble baths, again, in this time, those may not be options. But self-care is something we should be doing for ourselves every single day, not just to reward ourselves for exercising this week or eating healthy. Self-care is important, and it's something we should maintain and nourish as much as we can. So taking care of ourselves should always be a top priority. For those of us with kids and families, or maybe elderly parents we're taking care of, it's still important to take care of yourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot take care of others. Just like that, when the oxygen masks drop on the airplane, do you give the oxygen mask to your child or to yourself? You give it to yourself, because if you're not okay, they're not going to be okay. Also, finding a plan that works for you. I've given tons of examples here, but this isn't a one-size-fits-all. Everyone's self-care is going to look different, and it might look different every day. It might look different every season. It might look different now that we're working from home. But find a plan that works for you and make those adjustments. If you are not currently practicing any self-care, try implementing one thing at a time. You don't want to become overwhelmed. Self-care shouldn't be an overwhelming thing. Thank you again for coming to this virtual program. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime during this time, or even when the library reopens. If you need to. I look forward to seeing all of you in person again soon. Thanks so much.